Building positive and productive routines at home and at school. In our day-to-day life, we all have preferred and non-preferred tasks and routines that we need to complete. We don't often take the opportunity to reflect on why some routines are smoother than others, which ones we prefer, and why we have the preferences that we have. But if we took the time to look at the tasks that we do and the routines we complete, we would likely find patterns of behavior that we repeat regularly. There are small features of all tasks that impact how we see them and ultimately whether we enjoy completing them or not. Individuals with ASD can greatly benefit from routines as they add structure and predictability to the day's activities. However, when certain parts of the routine are difficult or frustrating for an individual, the entire routine can become aversive and lead to problematic behavior. However, building positive and productive routines at home and at school can increase the quality of daily interactions and the sense of accomplishment for children, parents, and the school staff. In this presentation, we will talk about some of the common challenges encountered when establishing routines, strategies to set up positive, productive routines, and the importance of positive reinforcement. Why are some routines hard to establish? Some routines require specific skills which can make them much more difficult to accomplish. For example, fine and gross motor and coordination skills are needed to do things like brush your teeth, take a shower, or get dressed. Some routines are made up of multitude of smaller tasks, and if one or more parts of the task sequence is difficult to accomplish, then the whole routine might end up being avoided prior to getting started, or worse, lead to problematic behavior to escape it once it has started. Let's look at an example of a common household routine. Getting ready for bed. It is a routine that contains multiple different steps, and these steps require specific skills that could be difficult for some individuals. If a child always has a difficult time putting on their pajamas or brushing their teeth, the whole bedtime routine could become aversive and they're likely to try to avoid it. In addition, getting ready for bed is likely not a very motivating activity for many children, as there are many interesting and competing activities that can stand in the way, like watching television, using a tablet, or playing with toys or iPad. In fact, motivation also plays a part in determining if an individual will complete tasks included in a routine. If a task itself is not fun, there will have to be some other elements included in the process to increase motivation. We will talk more about this later in the presentation. Finally, competing activities or events can cause individuals to delay or avoid a routine. If a child has a choice between watching their favorite cartoon or helping with the dishes, they're more likely to choose the fun, low-effort activity. All of these can greatly influence the likelihood that a child will readily complete a routine. Common routines at home or at school. Some common routines children often encounter at home or at school include getting dressed, brushing one's teeth, packing a backpack for school, preparing a snack, doing homework, having lunch in the cafeteria, getting ready for recess, free playtime, taking the school bus, bath time, getting ready for bed, making one's bed, drying dishes. Doing these everyday tasks can have a big impact on a child's life, especially when they don't go as expected. Other routines take place in the community, such as grocery shopping, eating a meal at a restaurant, or going to the playground. When we think about these routines and how to set a child up to complete them successfully, we should ask ourselves, how do we maximize support to help the child experience success? How do we ensure the routine is as positive as possible for the child, parents, and the school staff? Who should be involved in the planning? Is there a way to simplify the routine to support success and independence? Let's take a closer look at different ways we can accomplish this. Strategies for more positive and productive routines. Some of the following suggestions may not work for all individuals with ASD or be a good fit for all situations. Please take into consideration the difficulty of a routine you have chosen, the child's abilities, the level of independence you are expecting, and the available resources when choosing one or more of the following strategies. Enjoy daily activities with your child. Make the routine fun. Incorporate your child's interests. Partner up. Offer choices. Pair routines together. Use visual supports. Use clear and simple instructions. Practice with fun and easy tasks. Balance it out. Let's look at each idea more closely. Enjoy daily activities with your child. By taking the time to enjoy daily activities with your child, you establish yourself as a reinforcer. In other words, your child is motivated to do the tasks you ask them to do, whether they're easy or difficult, because your presence helps make the task more pleasant. The more opportunities you create for positive interactions, the more likely your child will follow an instruction, even when it is less pleasant for them or when it is presented outside of play setting. Make the routines fun. Some routines are less motivating, but making small changes can help them make them more fun. For example, play music while your child is brushing their teeth. Have them sing their favorite song while they're washing their hands. Make it a game to see who can get dressed first. Make it a contest to see who can eat a healthy snack every day for a week. Play a game of Simon Says for cleaning up toys. Make some directives about tidying the toys and others about silly, fun actions that the child will love. For example, Simon says, put all the blue toys in the bin. Simon says, jump 3 times. Simon says, put all the blocks in the container. Simon says, make 2 different funny faces. Simon says, grab all the books on the floor and put them on the shelf. These suggestions may result in the task requiring more time to complete, but they may also increase the likelihood that the child will readily complete the task. Incorporate the child's interests into the routine. If you can, try to incorporate things that your child likes into the routine. For example, use a toothbrush or a toothpaste with a picture of their favorite animated character. Use cars and trucks as bath toys. Include animals on math worksheets. Include pictures of superheroes on visual supports to help them wash their hands. Partner up. To make routines more fun and less aversive, try completing the routine with your child. You could split the task, so you do half of the routine for them and they do the other half. For example, you fluff the blanket over the bed and they pull the blanket over the edges. Then you put the pillows on the bed and your child arranges their stuffed animals. When it's appropriate to do so, you could have your child complete only a certain part of the routine. For example, offer them 6 tasks from which they get to assign 3 to you. Choose a number to do and throw one away for the day. The adults should also get a turn to decide which task to keep, which task the child gets, and which one gets thrown away for next time. Offer choices. Whenever possible, allow your child to choose the order in which they want to perform the tasks in the routine. You can ask, which one do you want to put on first, mittens or hat? Or you can offer your child the opportunity to choose the order in which to complete a series of tasks. Allow your child to choose which materials to use for the routine. Simple choices like using a blue pencil or a pencil with flowers or the color of paper to write in can be motivating. If possible, allow your child to choose where the routine takes place. Maybe they have the option of washing their hands in downstairs bathroom or the upstairs bathroom. You can give the choice of which tasks to complete on a given day or when during the day they will be completed. If there are tasks that aren't completed every day, allow your child to choose which day to complete them. When it fits within their overall daily schedule, you could also allow your child to choose when to complete tasks during the day. For example, you could ask, do you want to clean up your room before lunch or after? You could also provide a list of tasks and ask your child to choose a number to complete. For example, you could say, pick 3 of the 4 things on this task list to do today. Combine routines. If some routines are already established and are going well, use them as momentum and combine with another small task from a more difficult routine. For example, if the routine for brushing teeth is well established, using a special toothpaste, have the child put the toothpaste on their toothbrush, brush their teeth for a few seconds, pause to take their medication, the more difficult task, then continue brushing their teeth again. This allows for both tasks to end on a positive note. Use visual supports. Use objects, pictures, cartoons, or text to show your child the steps for what needs to be done. Be sure the visuals you use match your child's level of understanding. Some children will need objects to understand, while others will be able to use photographs, line drawings, or text. You could, for example, show your child a series of pictures demonstrating the sequence of tasks necessary to get ready for bed. Practice with fun and easy tasks. Practice by giving simple instructions that your child is likely to follow. This gives you the opportunity to provide praise, attention, and possibly other forms of reinforcement after they have successfully followed through on your directions. For example, you could ask your child to eat their snack at the table and then praise them when they do so. It's as simple as enthusiastically saying something like, wow, you ate all your snack and you sat at the table the whole time. That's awesome. Practicing with easy, high probability instructions helps build momentum and makes it more likely that your child will follow through on other directions. Balance demands with other interactions. It's important to be aware of the number of demands you give your child over the course of the day and how you word them. When you interact with your child, be mindful of the proportion of your verbal interactions that include directions or instructions versus simple conversation. If you're making more demands than talking with your child, they may start to avoid you. You obviously need to make demands such as put on your shoes or let's get ready for school. But you also need to interact in fun, non-demanding ways, such as when conversing. I think this is my favorite song in this movie. What about you? We talked about enjoying daily activities with your child earlier in the presentation. And a way to do that is to balance demands and instructions with fun and rewarding conversations. There are certain times of the day when there will likely be more demands, like when getting ready for school in the morning. It can be stressful time as everyone tries to get ready on time. Being aware of the way you word your demands and making sure you include some light and fun conversations can help provide some balance. For example, you could say, I'll bet I can brush my teeth for a whole 2 minutes while our favorite song is playing. Want to see if we can do it together? If you find that you must repeat instructions or prompt your child to complete each step in a routine, consider using a visual support. The pictures can help reduce the number of verbal directions you need to give. When your child gets stuck on a step, you can simply point to the next step to prompt them to keep going until they complete all the steps. Use clear and simple instructions. If a routine absolutely needs to be completed, it's important to be mindful of the instructions you're giving. Avoid asking your child whether they want to complete a task, unless it really is an option not to do it. For example, don't say, "Do you want to get in the bath?" unless the child has the option to say no. Instead, give simple and clear instructions at a level of language that your child can understand. For some children, it's best to use as few words as possible when giving verbal instructions. If this applies to your child, you could say, "In the bath, please." Or, if your child's language skills are more advanced, you could say, "Come and play with your toys in the bubbles." A very important component in establishing positive and productive routines is positive reinforcement. The idea behind positive reinforcement is that when a behavior is followed by a satisfying consequence, such as praise, recognition, or access to a favorite toy or activity, the likelihood of that behavior happening again is increased. Positive reinforcement is an important key in making sure that your child wants to keep repeating a specific routine. Reinforcement needs to be given immediately after the child completes the task and must be appropriate in size and magnitude. In other words, if your child independently brushes their teeth, you could give them a lot of praise and tell them how proud you are of them. But if your child independently washes the dishes and makes their bed, tasks that are more effort, you might offer them a special snack or activity in addition to praise. There is no magic formula for deciding how much reinforcement to provide, but a good rule of thumb is that routines and tasks that require more effort or are more difficult or are non-preferred would earn more reinforcement than tasks or routines that are easier or enjoyable. Maximize, minimize. If your child engages in problematic behaviors during a routine, try to minimize the attention you give to the behavior to the extent possible. Sometimes it won't be possible to ignore the behavior. For instance, if the behavior could result in an injury. Your child may also intensify their behavior to get the usual reaction from you. Again, if the behavior doesn't pose a risk, avoid giving it your attention. The reality is that sometimes things simply must get done. Beware of where you give your attention. You want to maximize attention and reinforcement for appropriate behaviors and minimize attention and reinforcement given for problematic behaviors. The praise and attention given for appropriate behaviors should be more enthusiastic, longer in duration, and better quality than the attention you give when inappropriate behavior happens. Giving better quality attention for behaviors you want to see tips the scale in favor of your child engaging in that behavior, giving it more power than inappropriate behavior. Think of it as a shift in your energy from giving a lot of attention to the behaviors you don't want to see to giving more attention to the behaviors you do want to see. Getting started. When you're ready to start, the following guidelines will help. Set simple, realistic goals. Choose one strategy to try at a time, and only implement a second strategy when you're comfortable with the first and is happening consistently without problem behavior. It can be easy to try something new 2 or 3 times and then revert to old habits. Plan that one strategy into your day so that it becomes part of the routine. Build on the strengths you already have. Ask yourself, which tasks or routines are already going well at home or at school, and why you think your child is successful at completing them. Then try to find ways to use that information to support and promote better routines in other areas. The strategies you choose need to be the right fit for your situation in terms of time and resources. Make sure everyone is on board with the strategy so that implementation is consistent from one adult to the next, and make changes to the strategy as a team. Some of these strategies can be used indefinitely. For instance, it is entirely possible for your child to sing a song either out loud or in their head while they wash their hands for the rest of their life if they wish to do so. On the other hand, other strategies might need to be faded out over time. For instance, having the adult doing half the routine while the child does the other half. You may want to start adjusting that ratio slowly and systematically over time, but only after the routine has been steadily heading in the positive direction. Final thoughts. Routines can help teach new skills and help families and individuals be more productive and successful. Unfortunately, some tasks are not as fun or motivating to complete as others. There are strategies that can help make challenging routines a little easier. First, enjoy daily activities with your child and make routines fun. If your child associates you or the routine itself with an enjoyable and rewarding experience, they're more likely to complete it willingly. Try to incorporate your child's interests into the task and offer choices whenever possible. Give simple and clear instructions and avoid presenting instructions as questions. Practice with fun and easy tasks that build momentum for more difficult tasks. Use positive reinforcement immediately following completion of a task. Be aware of the attention you give for appropriate behaviors and the attention you give for inappropriate behaviors. Try to tip the scale in favor of appropriate behaviors. And finally, set realistic goals, build on strengths, and be patient with yourself. We hope that this information will help you create positive and productive routines that will ultimately lead to skill building, independence, and significant outcomes at home and at school for your child.